Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another great edition of my Grue Rume Show. For the Grue Rume Show today, I got a very awesome guest, and she is a filmmaker, a writer, and she helps divorcees too. And I'm talking about Sue Zarco Kramer. And I am Rocco Cross. I am the host at Stutters, as you can tell. And I am the host of the Grue Rume Show. And my interview with Sue will be coming up very soon. This is my Grue Rume, and as always, my gruelings. Welcome to my nightmare. So stay tuned and let's have some fun. Oh, all right. Welcome to Grue, and thank you so much for being my guest. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Definitely. I have to say, I love how it looks like, is that clouds? It looks like clouds in the background, the painting.
It's actually a painting of an elephant that's like
Oh, really?
charging.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
You-
It's a
were you the one that painted
my
it?
my ex-husband's godfather, who was a very wonderful painter, painted it.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Yes.
nice, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks good. I like it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I guess the first question I want to start off right off the bat is a typical question, I guess, is what what drew you to want to create films, like write and create films?
I am one of those lucky humans that knew that I wanted to write and create and direct a film since I was about 8.
Wow, that's
Um,
young.
it was very young, and I always said it to my parents, and they were like, "Yeah." My dad would say, who became like a physicist, practical rocket scientist, would say, "I wanted to be a DJ when I was your age. You'll see. You never know." And I just kept with it. I just loved cinema, and my mother is from Guatemala, and she went to an American school, but she grew up watching cinema to perfect her English, and she was a cinephile. And so she turned me on to cinema every week of my life. We were watching
Oh my
old
God.
movies. And so I grew up loving cinema. And then my parents both loved movies and Broadway musicals. And we were always playing music in the house.
Really?
And they inspired me greatly. And then I did the same with my daughter, who,
Mhm.
since she was 2, I was showing her Friday night. We had Friday night movie night. And while kids were watching like the Wonder Pets, she was watching An American in Paris. Um, and she'd be coming into school and they'd be all talking about, like, I want this, critter from the toy store. And she'd be like, I want the Eliza Doolittle Barbie really badly. And they'd be like, who's Eliza Doolittle? So yeah, I have been a lover of cinema and theater, and it's been my calling my whole life. I've been a storyteller. I was the littlest of 3 sisters and was always asked to perform for when my parents' friends came over. I was the entertainment.
Oh wow.
Um, oh yeah, I had a lot of pressure. And then when I was in Guys and Dolls, when I was 12 or 13, I was a hot box girl, and I got stage fright.
Oh
Grew up
no.
grew up behind the stage, and from that point forward, I said I never wanted to be in the front of the camera. I just wanted to be writing and directing stories.
Oh
So
wow.
it's been my calling. And clearly, even this being on camera and now being front and center in a lot of camera lately is not my comfort zone, but I'm flipping owning it. I'm like, I'm gonna get back on that guys and dolls stage and take back my mink.
Yes, definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
Like that's actually what I was going to ask you. Do you think like you want to go back and like start doing plays or even act in films?
No.
Okay.
Hard no. Hard no. But I will probably be on my own reality show for Divorcee Doula, and I do need to be front and center for a lot of things right now. But no, I will not be starring in one of my shows or features or any of them unless it's my Divorcee Doula show. But no, hard no.
Okay. Well, let's talk about your show. It's a brand new show that you're working on, and what inspired you to want to make it?
Well, that's multifaceted because so I have been a writer filmmaker for my whole career, was signed out
Mm-hmm.
of film school at UCLA at a really early age and went to CAA and then WME for many, many years and been making films and TV shows and shorts. And so I made this short last year called Swipe NYC. And that was one of the greatest joys of my life because the short, number one, is being turned into a series, which is separate from Divorcee Doula,
Oh,
but
wow.
will answer your question. So just wait, and I promise I'm going to answer your question. Um,
Okay.
Swipe became this phenomenon in terms of winning a lot of awards during the film festival season. Like
I
we
saw that. Yeah.
swiped away. We swiped
Yeah.
them like through the season. We just took those awards. And I didn't care who won. I said, I'm taking it, give it to me. And
And
so,
you owned it.
yeah, I owned it, even though it wasn't awarded to me. I just took it. I stole them. No, we actually got a lot of really nice awards of best film and best director, best actress for Lisa Eldelstein. And I ended up getting this huge following of divorcees who
Mhm.
looked at the film, which is about post-divorce life and digital dating apps, and what it looks like at 50 to go onto dating apps and how, dating a 27-year-old to a 60-year-old and everything in between and all the people in between of what that looks like. And so I journaled my dating, my actual dating. I journaled it. And
Oh,
there was
wow.
156 dates since my divorce when I made Swipe. We're now at 201. Um, uh, so I ended up journaling them, and the journal became Swipe. And then
Uh,
Swipe just touched a lot of people of me being I'm so grateful that I'm an inspiration of that, like you don't have to die after divorce and that
exactly.
you can actually live again, you can create again, you can have sex again, you can do it all. And so people would write to me and say, "Can I get advice on this?" or "What dating app are you on?" or "God, that's so great that you have a boyfriend now," or whatever they would be saying.
Hmm.
And so I started helping all of these women on the side while I was making all of my shows and features and whatnot. And
Okay.
then I just decided in December, you know what? This is a platform. Like, this is not just a moment of me helping these women and men, but mostly women right now. So I launched Divorcee Doula, and I am the Divorcee Doula. I am the woman doula who helps you get your zhuzh back. Um, and I've gotten 200 inquiries since I launched rather in December. And
Okay.
it's been remarkable. I get almost a note every day of someone saying, "Thank you. I'm starting to get back on my feet. I feel better about myself." I
Oh,
have
that's awesome.
ambassadors who are helping me or brands that believe in me, from the local amazing hair salon called Wild and Grace to Bobby Brown and her Jones Road line to Caddis Glasses to Onda Beauty, which Naomi Watts used to own, but now is owned fully by my friend Larissa, who was the original founder.
Oh,
And
wow.
they have become ambassadors of empowerment for post-divorce. And so that hopefully will become a reality show because I am the straight eye for divorcees. And that's how it's come together. So it's a platform and will eventually be a series, probably a movie and a book and a podcast, maybe. Who knows?
Okay. Okay. I mean, how does that feel? Because like inspire like so many women out there that like you were just saying after the divorce, like your life don't have to be over, like you get back on the swing of things and get back in it, and you're inspiring all these women and you're helping them find their way again. And how does that feel to know that you're a positive influence?
It feels so amazing because normally you don't, I mean, other than screenings, when you screen your
Hmm.
films and you get that incredible satisfaction of applause, or people come after a screening, come up to you and say, I loved your film or I loved your project. That's an incredible feeling. When you touch somebody with your entertainment that you've created as an artist. But then this is such a more intimate step further,
Yeah.
is that I'm touching people. It's a very intimate relationship, and I'm touching people one on one. And that's incredible because they tell me like deeply about how they feel. And the divorcee world for men and women, and I will be helping many more men as well,
Okay.
is um, it can feel really lonely. And it can feel, even though we're one out of two marriages and in divorce, it feels like you're in your own private Idaho. Like you don't feel like there's a community out there waiting for you. Most people are very lost, even if they see it as the worst part of their lives or a victory if they left, whatever it be, they feel lost in some way because usually they were married for, many years. Most of
Hmm.
my, clientele is over 40. And so they've been married from anywhere from, 10 and up to 25 years. And so now
Oh,
they're starting over again. And to help someone, and for me to influence somebody in any way of empowerment, is so fulfilling. Like I'm insanely grateful for what I'm doing and fulfilled. It's been an amazing couple months.
nice, nice. And going back to your short film Swipe, it's basically like you said about dating online, all these different apps. And did you ever have like a crazy or funny encounter doing these dating apps?
Oh, you're going to need to see Swipe because you have no idea. I seriously, you have no idea. Like you don't even, and I've had lovely boyfriends along the way. Let me just tell you, and I've had lovely, just a person that you meet that you just isn't your person, but has
Hmm.
become my friend, and that we're still my friend. One of a guy who I dated became my music supervisor. Somebody, who we never, wasn't a match, but like absolutely my friend. So there are many success stories along my journey in
Good.
terms of just friendships,
Yeah.
relationships, but a ton of crazies. I mean, crazies, crazies. And you need to see Swipe. I mean, seriously, the sniffer, I'll just put it out there, like the sniffer. Just visualize it and think about it and what would that look like. And yeah, I have so many stories, as do everyone out there in the dating world, whether they're divorced or not. Everyone has their
True.
dating stories.
True.
But some of them are so bananas that people ask me afterwards, after Swipe, like, that didn't really happen to you, did it? And I'm like, no, not only did it happen, but I took it from my journal and the dialogue is identical to what happened.
My
Yeah.
God.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
have
God.
doozies. Doozies. Yeah. Yeah. Is this show R-rated?
It it's like I mean, I never gave it any kind of rating because people come on here and curse and swear and all that. So it definitely doesn't have a limit, I guess.
No, I was just messing with you. It's like, should we go X-rated? No, there's nothing that bad. But a lot of just really different, different strokes for different folks. I mean, there's a
That's
lot of
true.
people out there. And
Yeah.
so, but the digital age that you're in, because you have
Hmm.
a podcast,
Yeah.
is really interesting
It,
because
it's
here we
crazy.
are, we don't know each other, we're having an
Yeah.
intimate talk, right?
Hmm.
Same
Hmm.
thing in digital dating is you go from 0 to 100 so quickly versus like, the olden times when I, met my husband when it was horse and carriages. Um, yeah. I know I look so good for my age.
Yeah, you
Um,
definitely do.
yeah, I'm actually 103. But
Wow. What is your secret?
soap. I just use soap and water and it just keeps me looking this fresh. And Bobby
Okay.
Brown. I have to give her a plug. Bobby Brown keep soap water and Bobby Brown keeps me looking this good. At 103. But back in the day when we used to look across a bar and lock eyes with someone and
Hmm.
think,
Hmm.
oh, like there's a moment, right? I like you, you like me. This is a moment. Somebody like walks over and was like, can I buy you a drink? Like those days are over. And so now
Yeah.
it goes from digital, like, hi, would you like to meet? Hi, yes, I would like to meet. Okay, great. Where would you like to meet? Well, maybe this restaurant or a cafe or whatever. Okay, great. So, what kind of sex are you like into dominance? Because I'm a dominant. And I'm like, wow, I thought we just said hi. If like I need to do the playback. I thought we just said hello, and we're like, should we go coffee? Should we go a drink? And now we're talking submission or dominance, and
Oh
I'm like,
my God.
so I feel like the 1 to 100, that speed is crazy, but I have to, I set boundaries and I know what I'm doing at this point. But
Yeah.
I still, it's great because I'm a writer. And so, and I'm a storyteller. So there's always
Yeah.
a story. There's always a story. So that's the greatest. I'll never be lacking of stories ever.
That is true. That is true. As long as there's crazy dating apps and people asking to get coffee and then turns into a whole different subject, you will definitely have a lot of writing material.
And a lot of clients because they,
Yeah.
they need my help.
Yes, definitely. And the first film you made, your di directing debut was Gray Matters. And you had like a really nice cast for that. And one of my all-time favorites is Carrie, Sissy. Like you had her in it. And what was it like working with her?
Sissy and I adore each other.
Oh, that's
Um,
awesome.
we are dear, dear friends. She's family to me. And we met in the craziest of circumstances. Um, Working with her, because her and her husband and I met first,
Okay.
he's a very well-known Oscar nominee production designer and has also directed, but he did like The Revenant and Flowers, Killers of the Flower Moon. He's
Hmm.
incredible, Jack Fisk. Jack and I met a long time ago when I was first starting as a baby screenwriter. He loved one of my projects and we got held up at gunpoint
Oh
in
my God.
Los Angeles. Yeah, really bad in a carjacking situation. Um, and I didn't know Sissy at that point. But I like kind of had to pull a Thelma and Louise and put the car in reverse as three guns were pointed
Mm.
at our heads and go backwards and spin the car around 360 and then they chased us and we ended
Oh
up
my
getting away.
God.
Yeah, it was a full blown chase and it was radical. It was radical. And so Sissy and I she called me to say thank you for saving the life of my husband, who is the father of her 2 children. And from that point onward, we were connected kind of for life.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So we were friends. And then when I was making Gray Matters, I thought, would this be a fun part for Sissy? Because no one knows how funny she is. She
Hmm.
usually plays in dramas. And I just thought, I read an article, which now is more popular, but I read an article about therapists that don't do therapy in sessions anymore, but do it on the road, like walking and talking and going different
Oh.
places. And so I wrote the character after that. And so she's rock climbing with on a rock climbing gym with Heather Graham when they're having the most intimate conversation of Heather's life when she admits that she's gay, which back then was before its time, and coming out with
Yeah.
like a pretty girl gay movie was, unheard of. In fact, even my
Hmm.
reviews were like, how could Heather Graham ever be gay?
Oh my
Um,
God, really?
oh my gosh, I got so many reviews about like that I put a lipstick kind of girl and that, how could she possibly be gay? Would never, the reviews that happened then about, criticism of casting would never happen now, never. Um,
Mm.
so yeah, Sissy was amazing because she was a friend, but she's also an icon.
Oh,
And
definitely.
everybody was like bowing down when she came to the set. Everybody was like, oh my God, Sissy Spacek's on the set. But we have a shorthand, so it was easy and delightful, and she's amazing. I mean, she just knows exactly what to do when, knows such a pro in terms of the camera, and just was amazing to work with.
My God, that's so awesome. I mean, my one of my all-time favorite horror movies is Carrie. Like she, oh my God, what an amazing role. Amazing role.
It is. I mean, everything she does, Badlands. I mean, these are just like
Yeah,
just everything that she does. But Carrie is quite amazing, and she was just a kid,
I know. That's the crazy part about that. She was so young.
so young. I think she was 22 when she
Hmm.
was Carrie. Yeah, and to think
Wow.
John Travolta was her prom date. I mean, it's like
No.
crazy.
I know
Yeah.
that was so yeah. I could watch that movie all the time. Like it's such a classic, a Stephen King book. Like it's
I
such a
know.
classic.
I know. It's got all the ingredients.
Definitely. But like you work with like a lot of big names because I saw like during the presidential campaigns and stuff, like you made a voting video, uh, cam a cam a can a can campaign. And like you got people like Bradley Cooper, Anne Hathaway, Samuel L. Jackson, Susan Sarandon. Like you got like top A-list actors to work for you. And how was it like getting them all together and basically making that video?
That video was so joyful, I have to say, because I was lucky enough for a year. I traveled with the Creative Coalition, which is a non-for-profit um, creative group of entertainment individuals, actors, directors, producers, who are usually fight at Capitol Hill and lobby for something, for some change for the arts.
Okay.
So I was me and Tom Fontana, who's a showrunner and created amazing shows, including Oz and many other great shows. Um, we were the delegate chair people. And so we would go for once a month, a group of us, about anywhere from 10 to 20, would go to all of the debates following Obama, his whole year of, campaigning. And at
Hmm.
the end of the year, right before the election, I was like, I want to like think about who I got to know this year and who I spent time with. And I said, I should really do a culmination of the year and get us all together to do a you vote, get out the vote campaign. And so that's what happened. And then I didn't know Bradley. There was a few people in the video I didn't know. Most of them I did, and most of them we met through the year. But
Yeah.
people were so into it that they were like, let me call Bradley and see if he wants. And, Bradley's like, hey, can I come into this? And same thing with
Oh
Blake
my
Lively.
God.
I didn't know Blake then at all. And it was like this, everyone wanted in. It was such a time of hope that everybody wanted to be part of it. So we shot it in 2 days, one day in LA and one day in New York. And it was great. It was great because it felt like it got seen by so many people.
Mhm.
And I felt like I had part of that election. Like what my contribution, I felt like I was
Oh God,
heard.
yeah.
So that was, yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah, I mean, having all those names, like you're definitely going to get eyes on it.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't have, I've worked with celebrities and my whole life. And so I don't have, I've only been starstruck once in my entire life. So
Oh, really?
I don't get nervous or anything like that. They're just my colleagues, that I love.
Who was the person you were starstruck over?
Well, I will say that the reason why I was starstruck was for many reasons, but if I knew I was going to meet that person, I would have like been able to think about it in my head and think, oh, what I'm going to have something good to say, or like I'm going to, I'm sure we have something in common. But it was
Yeah.
one of these things that I was out at a wonderful dinner party at an artist's home in New York, and I was at the buffet, or no, at the bar, with a bartender, and I was ordering my drink with my ex-husband.
Okay.
And so my husband was over here and I was talking to him, and then I just turned like this, and there was David Bowie.
Oh my God.
And I got starstruck. I was like, completely didn't know what to say. I acted like I was 7 years old. I was like, wow, changes. Let's start there. You changed my life, changed my changes. And he's like, changes. Yeah. I'm like, and you're David Bowie. He's like, yeah, I'm David Bowie. I'm like, And I was so embarrassing. I've never lived it down in my head. It plays with me. It like plays in my head. That I thought I could have had such a great conversation with him. Like I'm just a normal person. I see
Yeah.
people like him all the time, like that but I didn't. I was a freak. So that
But,
was the only time.
but what a cool, I mean, you got to actually meet David Bowie, like an icon in the music world. Like you actually like were face to face with him. Like that's awesome.
I promise you, God rest his soul, he would have never remembered me. Man, if others, if you called Sissy or you called somebody, they'd be like, Sue Kramer rocks. She's amazing. And you could call a lot of people and they would be like, she's fantastic. David Bowie, I definitely made no impact on his life whatsoever, sadly.
Okay. And I what's connecting dots? Like I see that's something you did.
So Connecting Dots Guru is my branding agency. So as you can tell, I'm really busy and I wear a lot of hats.
Yes, you
Um,
definitely do.
but about 5 years ago, I launched a branding agency that would help brands tell authentic stories through a screenwriter's pen and a filmmaker's lens, so that I could visually tell their stories and narratively tell their stories through, my filmmaking background. And I can draw. And so we did everything and have done everything from logos to commercials to complete brand identities. And
Wow.
yeah, that's also been really satisfying to see, like, there's a bunch of logos around the city right now that I designed, and it's really fun to walk past things and see your work.
Oh yeah. Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. So when you aren't wearing so many hats, what do you like doing during your free time?
Good question. Other than binging on a lot of TV and movies, which I do love to do.
Hmm.
Right now, of course, I'm into White Lotus like everybody else on the planet. Waiting for the Sunday night next episode. Um, but other than that, I love being in nature. Like I'm a city mouse, country mouse. I love going to Cape Cod, where they have these things called kettle ponds, and I love swimming across them. And I love going to Shelter Island and anywhere that's by water. Like just show
Oh,
me
okay.
water and traveling. That's a huge passion for me. I feel
Is,
like if you have the privilege and
yeah.
the access to traveling, for me it's one of the greatest educators in the world is seeing where someone else lives.
Is there a place you want to travel to that you haven't seen?
Well, I'm going in 3 weeks. I'm going to Copenhagen, and I've never been there, so that
Okay.
was on my list, and I can't wait. I'm gonna go visit my daughter who's studying there, and
Oh, nice.
so I'm really excited.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
But I have a huge bucket list. It'll never be finished, but
Yeah, because there's too many places.
too many places. But I try to keep, as soon as I finish one trip, I'm already thinking like, okay, what's the next one that I have to save for that where else can I go?
I'm I'm the same way. I'm like, as soon as I'm done going somewhere, I'm like, where can I go to next? And I'm already planning like, all right, if I cut out this, then that, will I have enough money? If I don't buy the milk this week, can I buy it the next week? Would that save me $5? Or it's all crazy stuff.
I hear you. I hear you. It's the greatest thing in the world. It's
Oh
kind
yeah.
of magical. It's like we get on these aircrafts and we're in our cities, and then we end up and we can be in a completely different world with a new
You know,
language and new everything, it's just it's pretty remarkable.
it is. It is. Like I love traveling. I love flying and I mean, to be honest, I've been kind of scared to fly with all this stuff going on, but I love flying though. Like I love traveling. I love flying.
I always I don't love flying anymore, but I love getting there.
Okay. Okay.
I do.
Hey, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And what about songs? Like what kind of music is on your playlist?
Oh gosh, it's so vast and wide. It can be anything from yesterday I was listening to Joni Mitchell and Simon and Garfunkel and old stuff to, brand new stuff. It really I will put on disco in my living room to dance, which I love. I love old Lauryn Hill. I love
Hmm.
Amy Winehouse. I love, classic Rolling Stones. I'm a full-on Rolling Stones girl. Like, just give me the Stones all day long, and I'd be happy. And then I love U2 and a bit of Coldplay, and then I'll go back to Sinatra and Tony Bennett and listen to
Nice.
that with my dad. Um, so music's really big for me. Like I was always played in my house growing up,
Hmm.
like Carly Simon and James Taylor, and my
Yes.
parents were always playing them. And so I grew up with a lot of music in the house, and same, yeah, I raised my daughter the same, and she's turning me on to music all the time.
Okay.
And she goes, like kind of what I did with my parents. Like I liked what they liked. She
Hmm.
also like she's really into Pink Floyd, and then she's
Nice.
really into like jazz, and she's getting into Coltrane, and like so. Yeah, I think music is amazing. I try to write to music, and
Oh,
depending on
okay.
what kind of scene I'm writing, I put on some great music in the background.
Ah, that's awesome. It was funny you just mentioned the Stones. I recently they came to Philly when they were touring, and for my mom's birthday, I got me and her two tickets to see the Rolling Stones, and we saw them when they were here, and it was
God,
amazing. It was Mick Jagger didn't look like he's what is he, 80 or
80,
something? Like
eighty.
he didn't look it. He's dancing, he's moving, he's singing. Like I was completely like I was in awe. I was in shock that this 80-year-old man could be doing this.
I know. He's a testament. I mean, it's
Yeah,
incredible how God, his stamina is just
I know.
outrageous.
I know it
And
was crazy.
like the fact that like you love him, your mother loves him, I love him,
Hmm.
the Stones stand the test of
They
time.
do. They do.
Yeah, so I love them. I would say they're my favorite, pretty much.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
they're amazing. Like and seeing them live is like you're on like another level when you're seeing them live. You're just like in awe like the whole entire time.
they were my first concert.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
I've seen them a few times, but they were my first concert.
Okay. I mean Keith 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 Richards looks like he's going to pass out, but he plays the hell out of that guitar.
I know, and unreal, right? I love all I don't know, I'm just obsessed with artistry. Like anybody who's great
Hmm.
at what they do, whether it's Keith Richards on guitar or a beautiful building or something that an architect made, or I just, I think I'm just like every day my heart just sings, but from something that's artistic. It just
Yeah,
feeds me.
yeah, definitely, definitely.
We have to
So,
keep these arts alive through what everybody's going through in this country right now. I think art can help our souls.
oh yeah, for sure. What do you think would be your go-to karaoke song if you were gonna do one?
If I was going to do one, you would have to put on earplugs, just so you know, which is fine. You could do that. We could do that. We could give that a shot on the show. Just you put on earplugs and I sing. Or
Hey.
or another way to go is we do this on the show and we mute me, which would be another way to go. Um, that's also another idea. I think that could go well. But landslide, Stevie
Oh
Nicks
my God, yes.
would be my go-to. But you'll never hear me singing it unless we mute and plug away, and
Okay.
then we will. Or we could or I could do like who were they, like Willie Vanilli or whoever they were.
Oh,
We
Millie
could
Vanilli.
right. We could do you could lip sync me because you're the digital genius on a podcast, and we could figure out like who is going to be singing, like Lady Gaga maybe singing
Oh,
landslide coming out of my mouth. I'd like that. Let's do that next time.
okay. I have to figure out how to make that happen, but okay. I'm a big horror fan, so of course, I just talked about Carrie, but I always ask my guests this: Are there any horror films that you like to watch?
No, they scare me.
Okay,
I don't Carrie's probably the only horror film, unless you count Get Out
that was
as a
good. That was a good one. I like that.
so if you count Get Out as horror, that would be
Hmm.
my my favorite. But those Carrie's real horror, which I love. But if I had to pick a genre that I could get behind, that I could watch and think is brilliant, it has to have some horror mystery, which is Get Out, and
Okay.
The Shining.
Oh my God, yeah. Jack Nicholson was crazy in it.
So those are not like gory
Hmm.
horror. Like I could never watch any of the Halloweens or Chucky's or they I we I'd be in an insane asylum. I we couldn't even be having this conversation. They scare me so much. I just look at pictures and they scare me. I get very affected by I can't watch the Demi Moore movie, which is sad
Oh,
because
really?
I want to support her and female director and all of that.
Yeah.
But no, I know it's too gory for me.
Okay. Okay. No, I saw it. It is gory. I don't think you could say
My daughter even said I couldn't see it. She's like, "Oh my God, Mom, no, there's no way you could see that."
it.
I have to protect my head so that I can keep creating things.
Exactly, exactly. You have to keep your mind right so you keep working and writing and directing and everything.
Exactly.
And is there anything coming up for you that you would love to talk about or plug?
Oh, well, divorcee, I've got a lot on my plate right now. So I've got
I know you
divorcee
do.
doula, which is anybody should go on my Instagram, which is at divorcee doula on Instagram or divorceedoula.com. Two E's. So it's not divorce doula, it's divorcee. Just want to make sure. And then swipe.nyc, which is on Instagram. That's a great place to follow us and to track when the series is and where it's going to be and where everyone will be able to watch it. So that's a plug. And then I have a few really great projects coming up that I'm developing with some wonderful producers. I'm working on a project with Jessica Alba. I'm reuniting with my Swipe team and bringing in another producer on that. I have a great team on all of my projects, wonderful, wonderful people working on them. And so I have that. And then I'm working on a project called The Locals that we're casting now as a feature for next year. So I'm super duper busy, but the plugs are definitely
See that?
swipe.nyc and divorcee doula. Those are big. And whoever, seriously, like whoever's out there listening and however old they are and they're divorced and they need some guidance or they need some, sympathetic, empathetic coaching. I'm here, and then also following that journey in terms of that becoming a reality show, and
Mhm.
even more. But yeah, it's following it all and connecting dots guru. That's also on Instagram. So yeah, I'm the Jane instead of the Jack of all trades.
I see that. You are definitely busy. Like you're doing a little bit of everything.
I am, and I wrote an article today, speaking of that, I wrote an article today on LinkedIn talking about, am I having an identity crisis or is it a triumph? And I'm going with triumph because I
I'm
am,
going with that too. Yes.
oh, thank you. Thank you. You. Triumph. I'm a type A OCD overachieving girl who wants to do a lot and wants to affect a lot of people. So fucking hell. Yes.
I love it. It was very good meeting you. Like you are so funny. You made me laugh like this whole time. Thank you so much for doing this. I definitely would love for you to come back on whenever you want.
I'd
Whenever you
love
have
to.
something else out and definitely yes.
Thank you for having me, and I'd love to come back,
Awesome, awesome. Yeah,
especially
like
when we do our karaoke.
yes, yes, we'll do a live karaoke session.
Lip syncing karaoke with Lady Gaga. Just remember. Okay. Yeah. No, really, thank you for having me. You're a delight.
Oh, thank you. Like you're so funny. Like I've had such a good time with this.
Oh, well, thank you. Let's from you to, I'm gonna be on we'll take this to Oprah next. That's who I
Yeah,
want. That's the call out. Oprah. I mean, she should be showing up any minute, right?
I I think so. I think you're going to get the phone call, and I doubt that Oprah watches my show, but I still think you're going to get the phone call.
Yeah, I think so too. And you never know. She might be watching your show now.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe.
All right. Well, listen, have a great night. Spring is coming
Yes.
and lots to come. So I look forward to keeping you abreast on all and thank you for having me.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah.